everyone. This week we are going to begin our informational text unit. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to equip you with some comprehension strategies that will help you understand nonfiction passages more easily, which will be a great thing because the integrated test is made up of 60% of nonfiction. So we're going to give you some strategies that will help you be more successful on the integrated test, and will also help you in the future when you read things to gain information. You'll have some strategies that'll help you to understand what you're reading a little better. So first of all, the purpose. We read informational text to learn new things and to deepen our understanding of certain topics and to learn new skills. The key to understanding informational text is reading closely to determine the important information and details while asking questions as you read. You want to read, and you want to read so closely as if you're going to teach this topic to someone. So first of all, what is informational text? It's nonfiction. It contains a lot of details that are real, facts that are true, information about a specific topic. A lot of times it explains why. A lot of times there's photographs and there's titles that tell whatever it is that you're going to read. There's subheadings, there's titles that tell you what it's going to be about. You read informational text to learn something new, and it explains things to you. All right, so this is a little sheet. It's a guided questioning sheet, and it teaches you how to read closely for details. So when you approach a text, you want to read closely. It says, reading closely begins by considering my specific purposes for reading and important information about a text. So you want to know, what's the reason? Why am I reading this? And what should I focus on? Should I focus on the content and the information about the topic, the structure and the language of the text, the author's viewpoint? Take notes of information like who's the title, what is the title, who's the author, what type of text is it, who published this text, and when was it published? That's important because you want to make sure the source that you're reading is a reliable source, that it's true, it's not fake news. And in this day and time, we hear a lot of fake news. So it's important for you to know where you're getting this information from. And when was the text published? Because is it current information? You also, when you read informational text, you want to have some type of question in your mind that you're looking for, some type of something to keep you focused. So the next section says that I begin my reading with questions to help me understand the text. And I pose new questions while reading that help me deepen my understanding, kind of like we've been doing with annotations, how we question the text. So this is going to look just a little different though. So when you start to look at informational text, you want to look at the structure. How's this text organized? How has the author structured the sentences, the lines, the paragraphs, scenes, or stanzas? And you want to look at the topic, the information, the ideas. What information or ideas are presented at the beginning of the text? What stands out to me as I first examine this text? What information or ideas are described in detail? What do I learn about the topic as I read this? And how do these ideas relate to things that I already know? And what do I think this text is mainly about? What's it really teaching me? You also want to pay attention to the language. What words or phrases stand out to me as I read? What words and phrases are powerful or unique? And what do the author's words cause me to see or feel? And what words do I need to define to better understand the text? Because a lot of times we're reading informational text, some of the words we're not familiar with. So we have to familiarize ourselves with that vocabulary in order to understand what we're actually reading, what we're actually learning. What words and phrases are repeated? A lot of times the author will repeat words to help your mind to zero in on specific concepts that they, or specific points that they're trying to get across to you, what they want you to learn. So pay attention to words and vocabulary that's repeated. And then perspective. Who's the intended audience for this text? What's the author's or narrator's stance or attitude about the topic or theme? You know, are there any bias? How does the author feel about the information that they're providing to you? What are they trying to convince you or to persuade you to believe or think a certain way? And how does the author's language show his or her perspective? And what is the author's personal relationship to the topic or theme? Sometimes that personal relationship would explain their bias to us. Okay, so the bottom part of this little form, that guiding questions, guiding details for us, and that enables us to read closely, talks about analyzing the details. So first of all, we're trying to get in our head, why are we reading this? What is our purpose? And then what is it that we want to know? What is our question that we want to have answered by the time we finish reading a passage? And then we want to focus in, okay, did we learn that? What were the details? What information was I given in order for me to understand the concept, or to meet the purpose of why I was even reading this article to begin with? So in order to analyze the details, you want to look for patterns across the text. Like, what does the repetition of the words or phrases in the text suggest? How do the details and information, characters, or ideas change across the text? And how does this text structure and features influence my reading? Then you want to look at the meaning of language. How do specific words or phrases impact the meaning of the text? And what words or phrases are critical for my understanding of the text? You want to think on, why is this important? Which details are the most important to the overall meaning of this text? And which sections are most challenging and they require closer reading? And then take a look at the relationships among details. How are the details in this text related in a way that develops the theme or the idea, what the author wants me to know? And what does the text leave uncertain or unstated? And why do you think the author left me hanging? Why does the author not explain certain things? All right, so to sum all that up, when you are reading informational texts, you should always ask yourself, why am I reading? What do I need to focus on? Who's the author? Who's publishing this? And what is standing out to me? What details are described in detail? And what do I already know? And what do I learn? What is this text mostly about? So we're going to be paying close attention to main ideas, central ideas, and supporting details, and summarizing the information. So today we're going to take a look at a passage called Lone Wolf. And as we examine Lone Wolf, I want you to pay attention to the following, and I want you to jot notes in your notebook in your Reader's Workshop section to demonstrate your thinking. I've actually created a notebook entry for you. Let me show you what that looks like. So here is what yours looks like, and we're going to do just a little bit together. I'm going to get you started, and then I'm going to have you do the rest on your own. So it says, take a look at Lone Wolf. As you examine Lone Wolf, and I've put the PDF right here, if you click on that, it'll open up in a different tab. So you want to keep this notebook entry open so that you can take notes as we read the PDF. So you're going to read, and you're going to pay a close attention to the following, and you're going to complete the notebook entry below. You're going to choose one question under each heading, and you're going to answer the question in the box out to the side. You do not have to answer all the questions. It's just one question that you want to answer. So if you look at this, I have taken the worksheet that I showed you a minute ago, and I've taken the middle part where it says questioning the text. And I've brought in the structure and the type of questions that you would ask yourself or want to answer about the structure of the text, topic, information, and ideas, the language, and perspective. So we're going to answer one of these questions under each category as we read Lone Wolf. Now, let me show you what Lone Wolf looks like. Lone Wolf looks like a magazine. Mine's kind of very big here. It looks like a magazine. So first of all, if we want to look at the structure of it, the questions are, how's this text organized? How has the author structured the sentences, lines, or paragraphs? So let's just take a look at it. First of all, Lone Wolf with a question mark is the title. It's hard to see the whole page here. This is on National Geographic Explorer. This is from the March 2015 edition. So it's dated. It's about 6 years old now. But National Geographic is a very reliable source. And we're going to scroll on down. And we see this is by Brenna Maloney, and that is the author's name. So we've approached the text. Now we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to see how it's arranged. So I'm seeing that the structure is there are subheadings, and it's divided into little sections. There's pictures. There's wording that explains what the pictures are. And as I go on down, it continues to look the same. Here is a graphic organizer, a wolf's food web. So more columns with subheadings. Here's a vocabulary section to where it gives us some vocabulary in case we're looking at some words that we might not be quite familiar with. More pictures and subheadings. So I would go back to my notebook entry, and here I would explain that, and looks like my font is pretty big here. Let's make that smaller. Okay, the text is organized in columns. Oops, didn't spell that right. Let's get that spelled right. And columns with subheadings, photos, it also has some paragraphs. So this is how it's organized, and that's basically all you need to put there about the structure. So now the next thing we're looking for is what information and ideas are presented at the beginning of the text. What stands out to me as I first examine it? What information or ideas are described in detail? And how do I learn about the topic as I read? How do the ideas relate to what I already know? And what do I think this text is mainly about? So I'm going to choose maybe one of these at the top where it says what information or ideas are presented at the beginning of the text, just to show you an example. Because some of the other questions, you have to read the whole passage in order to be able to answer those. So, and you're going to read the whole passage, but for me, in this video purpose, I'm just going to go over the first part of it with you. So this is the beginning. 3 wolf pups squirm inside their den. They're only a few days old. They're blind and helpless, barely able to crawl. They'll stay in the den for the next few weeks. Only their mother will see and take care of them. Not far away, however, 5 wolves wait. Wolves are pack animals. They live together in small groups or families. As the pups grow, they'll join this pack and learn the ways of the wolves. The pack is eager to welcome the pups. Outside the den, one member of the pack tips his head back and he points his nose to the sky. He closes his eyes and he howls. It's a howl of support to let the pups know that the pack is there. The other pack members tip their heads back and they add their voices to the call. So this first section is about, it says, information presented at the beginning is about how pups are born and isolated with the mom. With the mom, but it talks about how the other wolves in the pack support the mom and the pups from a distance by sending a howl to show their support and let them know they are there for them. All right, so hopefully this has given you an idea of the thought process of when we read informational text. Now what you're going to do is you're going to finish reading the passage on Lone Wolf, and you can add some here if you would like about what you've learned about the topic as you read, or you can And then I want you to choose one of these questions to answer, to think on the type of language that's being used in this passage. And then who do you think is the intended audience, and what's the author's stance or the attitude? And you can scroll on down. Here's some more questions that help you to think through the author's perspective and that you can answer to fill in this box. Okay? Now, and then I just put this whole little chart here for you if you wanted to look back for it. I just clipped it from the actual chart that I showed you in the beginning. So I hope you have a good time doing this and are excited about our new informational text unit. I think it's going to be fun, and I think you're going to learn a lot of new things, especially about wolves, because a lot of our passages are going to be about wolves. So enjoy.